Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach. Welcome to the straight red card. Get off our lawn.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Who knows that song? Somebody out
We just got demonetized. Thanks, Derek.
No, I wasn't. I mean, yeah, I nailed it. There's no doubt I nailed it. But that is a great song, by the way. And if you haven't heard it, go check it out. Just look it up. It's called The Perfect Day. And so I'm going to wait. I'm not going to say who wrote it or who wrote the song or whatever, who performed it, but it's a great song. And it's about two people who are hooked on drugs, and they just go out and they drink sangria in the park. Then they go to a movie, and it's just a weird, like they're all stoned out the whole day. And it's just a perfect day, except for the ending part or near the ending when he's like, it's such a perfect day. Something. I thought I was someone else, someone good. And you're like, damn, he knows. There's something wrong with him. So anyhow, great song, great lyrics, fantastic shit.
Demonetization is worth the sacrifice to hear Derek singing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, especially from a guy named Judgmental.
Yeah.
There's no
judgmental deity. So he's able to be judgmental.
I mean, shit.
There's ever somebody to be judgmental, it's a deity, right?
He's just like floating above us, going, "You're wrong. You're wrong. You're right." Beautiful voice.
If you could, I guess Susan's no longer running YouTube. I don't know who's running YouTube now. But Judgmental, if you can get with the YouTube algorithm people and just say, hey, man, take it easy on these guys. Because I've been listening to a couple other people doing live streams and controversial topics and stuff. And they're like, that's okay. We're past the 30-minute marker. I'm like, God, we got to get past 30 minutes now?
30?
Never going to get monetized.
Fuck it then. I give up. Oh, I just said fuck it.
It's all well. Every show, I think our last 5 shows have been limited. So
limited immediately. Immediately without any. Yeah, the turd in the background says, "Welcome to the straight red card. Southampton are down. Who will follow? Will it be Leeds? Probably, definitely Leicester. Luckily, my wife will go down on all of them. Jesus to Napoli. Jesus to Napoli might be. Get the fuck out. No kidding, man. What are people thinking? Jesus to Napoli? Seriously?
Oh, I've got some stuff on that. We'll talk about that.
I mean, he goes to Napoli. He's going to be immediately loaned out to fucking Westerlo in fucking Belgium because he ain't making that team. All right. You turds. Thank you, Berlin, as always. Hey, we got a lot. Oh, by the way, I should bring up the fact that we've been pronouncing a name of a team wrong for a long time.
Is it the Gesundheit team or whatever you always say?
No. Oh. Klagenfurt I've got down. That's
not
a lot.
Klagenfurt. No, the Turkish team that's getting promoted or whatever.
Oh,
that's one.
Ankaragachu? No,
yeah.
I nailed it. Oh, okay. I nailed that. No, I've been saying Iberian.
Oh.
Instead of Hibernian. Now, how I got Iberian stuck in my head, I have no clue.
The more I think about it, I think people in the chat were correcting you the entire time. I just never really brought it up.
I keep saying, I don't know why I'm leaving the N out of the name.
And given the time, given how behind the 7-second delay that the chat has, Tom called it early. I think he called it right when you said it.
Yeah,
so
Tom,
he knew ahead
you're
of time,
right,
yeah.
buddy. And to all of you Hibs fans, we just call it Hibs for short, right? But yeah, I mean, I just never really haven't been a huge follower of Scottish soccer, so I don't know all the fucking
soccer
or football. Football? I know how to pronounce the easy ones like Dundee United, and Rangers.
Because you're an Office fan.
Glasgow. I know they play in Glasgow Celtic. You know what I mean? But, you get in some of the weirder named ones, but those don't show up really until like the 3rd division, really. But yeah, so we fucked up Hibernian. I apologize to Hibernian fans.
You were saying mostly, Iberian?
I think Iberian or something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's probably toasted too. But I watched the last show.
We always have that to fall back on, right, Derek?
Well, no,
I was drinking during that show. Whatever.
I was watching the last show, and I caught myself saying that, and then I saw the chat, and I'm like, fuck, he got us. Yep, I fucked that up multiple times. All right.
All right,
So
before we get into many other stories here, cover
Okay.
your eyes, Derek. I got to pull up the bingo cards for today.
oh, for crying out loud! All right,
I know.
there we go. All right, I'm going to play with my pecker really quick while you guys do this.
Choose wisely, people. Choose
All right.
wisely. Because we're going to talk about a topic here in just a second that's on one of these.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Man.
Yep, and it turns out this last card has jerking off, Derek. There you go.
Oh, I'm almost there, guys. Are we done?
Yes.
We're done? Okay. All right, we're good. All right, that's just my nose drops, folks. Don't panic. Don't panic. Just the nose drops. It's the allergy season. I don't know if this sounds a whole lot like
you could have done this before the show.
What, nose drops? I did do it. I got a bunch of Coke in here. Now, I don't know how much that really sounds like jerking off anyhow. It's too liquid.
Seth Floyd's you're having Derek is having 11 yanks.
I had at least 31 yanks in there, at least. But it does sound too sloshy. You know, this is like your fucking this is like you're screwing the girl with the large pussy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not good. All right. I got to announce tonight I am drinking a Leffe, another Belgian beer. It's a Belgian blonde. Exceptional, rated an 8 out of 10 on Beer Advocate.
Jeffrey Tubman's on the show.
I gotta learn how to fucking pour a beer, apparently. You know, these things are extremely carbonated, and I'm trying here not to create a gigantic head. That's what she said. All right. So what else? What do you want to move? I was watching the Michael J. Fox, the Parkinson's documentary. That was really interesting because seems pretty sharp still. He's pretty sharp up here, but the whole body's falling apart. You know, it's kind of sad to see. And I didn't know he was doing some of those later movies that he knew he had Parkinson's, but nobody else did. But he didn't want to announce it because, well, he wanted to do movies, and he figured if he announced that, no one would hire him for anything. But I do believe he announced it, and then he got that TV show where he plays like a this is many years ago.
In the government or
an advisor to the mayor or something like that. Yeah, I can't remember the show.
Never really. I mean, I watched Spin City. Thank you, BMR.
Yes, but I did like the fact that he's really honest in it. They're like, so you know, when you were at your height, were you kind of a dick? He's like, yeah, probably. I was kind of a dick. Like, you know what? It takes some retrospect. You got to look back on your life sometimes and go, you know what? I was kind of a dick, and I'm glad I'm not a dick anymore. Now, in my case, didn't matter if I look back or not. Just always been one. All right, go ahead. Oh, by the way, we went through the whole pre-show, right?
Yeah.
For 10 minutes. We never mentioned the main topic of the show one time. Is that going to be part of the show?
Yeah. I mentioned I've got a tweet, and we just talked about at that point. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let you kick off the show then.
Well, I was speaking of the pre-show and everything like that. I was talking to you about how because you had asked me if I watched the most recent in Soccer We Trust video that you sent me. I said I'm about 2 minutes into it because I had to do this. Like the Boy Scouts of America sent us an email for Jackson saying, hey, you know, we realize you haven't done this protection adventure. So make sure you sit down with Jackson, go over it in the pamphlet or the booklet, and then click on the link and watch the video that goes with it. And I'm like, I'm looking through the book. I'm like, I don't need to go over this.
It's like a training or something.
And I click on it. Yeah. They have when you click on it, the video is like a bunch of how to spot child abuse and all that type of stuff. And I
suppose that's handy.
It's got to be completed tonight.
Oh,
so I got to watch all this video tonight. and it's 72 minutes long.
Holy fuck! How much time do you...
I'm sitting here like I'm doing the math. I'm like, well, I'm like 20% done with it right now because I watched a little bit leading into this. Now I'm like, okay, if we get done like at 10:30, it's like an hour and a half. I should be able to get it done.
72 fucking minutes about child abuse?
All sorts of things, yeah.
That should be like a 5-minute video with 10 bullet points and like 2-minute descriptions. Honestly, I don't understand. Like a 10-minute video would do it. That would do it. Like, you're going to lose people's attention. They're just going to play it and walk away and make a salad.
So you beat me to the point I was going to make next.
There's a test?
I was thinking that too. I could just, my thought process was, it's a 72-minute video. I'm just going to play it now, go on the podcast, do the shit. You know, when we come back, we'll be done. No, they have individual quote-unquote slides that pop up that you have to hit play on. Each slide to move to the next slide. And then there's a video, and then you got to keep in play. So I'm going to have to do it all the way through.
Have you found what you've watched so far helpful and informative?
Oh, I wasn't really listening to it.
Well,
here's the thing, guys.
Don't tell his Boy Scout troop this.
Here's the thing, though, guys. I do this shit every year because I work at a school district. Every year, you got to go
almost
the exact same things. It's the exact same things, except for this is just the Boy Scouts of America putting it on. I do it for school system, so it's. No, I mean, I'm but I'm not really retaining it at that point because I've already done all this stuff. Like
most people have heard, I know most people have heard of this term before. CYA, it means covering your ass, and that's all these people are doing. Like Boy Scouts of America have fucked up so routinely and brought in some real creeps that molested kids or whatever. It's been a total fuck fest for like 40 years, 50 years, and now they're making you pay for their mistakes. Right? That's what they're doing. Brett is an expert at abusing children. I don't know. I don't think so. That's not a joke I'd make.
You get every the pre-show every week. Every show. It's usually me going, brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. Go to bed.
Get the fuck to bed, bitch.
All right. Well, let's jump into some of the fun topics here.
All right.
We brought up the bingo cards, and I said there's at least one card I noticed that had this tile on it.
Okay.
Chris Gary sent us this, and apparently there's a new Geogate article out there.
Oh, huh? What?
And I scrolled through it. I read all of their little Twitter breakdowns. Guess what?
Yeah. What?
It doesn't report anything new. It's the exact same shit we knew at the latest 3 months ago, at the earliest 6 months ago.
So
it's
wrote
a new
article.
It's a new article by Breaking the Lines, and it's. When Giovanni Reyna was told he had a limited role in 2022 World Cup, his mother, Danielle, responded by blackmailing U.S. men's national team manager Greg Berhalter over
oh my God!
1991.
Who's breaking the lines? Who is this person? Who is this turd? Like, who's this guy related to the turd? Because this is the worst thing. Oh, he's followed by Tack. And for others who follow us, man, this guy needs some fucking help. He used the word blackmailing after the report came out that said there's no evidence that it was blackmail. And he's 3 months late to the fucking party.
Yeah.
Who's breaking the lines, man? He's breaking his fucking brain, apparently. It's fucking broken. It's gone.
Yeah. And as Chris mentioned, he goes, I really hope it wasn't blackmail bingo card.
I gotta say, I don't know who this guy is. I don't want to make enemies. I don't want to, but sometimes you gotta call dumb, and this is dumb.
What took him this long? I mean, this type of an article, and I like I said, scrolled through all the Twitter breakdowns of what this person posted here. I even clicked on the article and I scrolled down a little bit through it. As far as I can tell, there was nothing new. Nothing new. The person wasn't bringing anything new to it. It's just like it's in their own words, but it's more or less just a copy and paste of many articles that came months and months prior to this.
This is the kind of guy who finally hit puberty at 32 and got laid at 51. All right. This
Twitter's like, good news, guys. Got my first pube today.
It's too slow, man. Come on. You got to develop faster than this, breaking the lines. That's sad.
I just figured, we haven't had a good blackmailing article in a couple months.
I cannot believe that
let's recycle
just
it.
came out. Jesus.
I'm hoping that we're still going to hear about this a year from now. That'd be great.
Are you sure that just came out? Are you serious? That
Yeah,
isn't
6
some
hours
old
ago we posted
article.
this shit.
Did
Hey, you know what?
somebody just-
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull it up and take a look here. Oh, don't they look happy together?
Oh, Jesus.
May 15th, 2023.
Okay, yeah. He really has no fucking hair on his balls. I'm guessing this guy is in ninth grade.
This article was written by investigation piece. I'm sure there's an actual author. Yeah, Edward Holdis.
Holdis what? Holdis penis? Because I'm serious, man. This guy is not getting any. That's why he's holding his penis. All right, because this is it's too late to the game, man. You're too late to the game. The whole party's over. The girls have left. All you have is pizzas laying around and empty beer bottles.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah. Clout chasing. Edward.
The real it's called soccer.
Edward Ligma? Ligma butt?
Yeah. As Chris Gary goes, it's easy to investigate when somebody already did the investigation 3 months ago.
No shit. He takes a long time to research because he's a little slow. He's a little slow on the trigger. Was that Jake?
It's definitely
is that the
somebody
real?
with it's called soccer logo and name. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to tell these days.
Yeah, it is.
It might be.
It could be.
Could be.
I don't remember his logo looking like that.
Huh.
All right. What else?
We're going to dive back into a little bit of history here, apparently. Ready for it?
Okay. I love history, Brett.
So back around 1731. I'll pull it up in just a second because I don't want to show you the picture until it'll ruin it. Okay.
1737.
1731.
31.
King Frederick I of Sweden had a pet lion that
Okay.
died. So he had a taxidermist stuff it.
Mhm.
The only small problem was that the taxidermist hadn't ever seen a lion before.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people have not seen lions.
This is what we got.
Couldn't he just use like a drawing of what the lion looked like or something?
I don't know how we could. Look at the eyes. Look at that. What's up with this?
Okay, surely this guy saw the animal when it was dead, right? Surely he saw the animal when it was dead. So this is like it looks like a stuffed animal.
What is this? Is like wooden teeth? Is this? I mean, yeah, is this all wooden like a jawline?
Look at the teeth are all rounded down and shit like it's a cartoon fucking character. Oh my god! Worst taxidermist. Worst taxidermist. I saw this. I'm like,
I cannot not bring this up. Come on.
Yeah, that's horrible, man. That's bad taxidermy. Bad taxidermy.
Absolutely awful. No,
yeah,
speaking of awful,
did he get beheaded by the king? That's what I want to know. He's like, what did you do to my lion?
This doesn't even look like Toothy.
What is this? A school for ants? All right, where are we?
Well, let's get a little somber news going on here.
Oh God, let's play the flesh rotting trank drug spreads to 48 states, cut with fentanyl. Oh man, now you're in my wheelhouse. So this is what I do for a living: try to stop people from killing themselves.
They're calling this like the zombie apocalypse drug because I mean they showed like pictures of it and it looks like literally their flesh has been eaten alive.
So xylazine is horrible. Not only was fentanyl horrible to start with, now they're cutting it with xylazine, which is a tranquilizer. And now, like, people will be out and dying, and you give them the Narcan to save their lives, and it won't wake them up because they took the xylazine and then they die. And they don't know it's cut with xylazine, but they're cutting that shit in now, too. Like, I remember in my days, you could go out when I was young and buy some Coke, buy this pill, buy that pill, whatever. You could and then take it to the party. You took it at the party, right? Now you can't do that anymore because you don't know what's in that shit. Like there is a percentage chance you got some bogus shit cut with fentanyl and this shit, xylazine. So you can't even fuck around with it anymore. Like the party days are done. Like you stick to weed and shit, is not laced. And you can get there is things called fentanyl test strips. Okay, so you test this drug, you scrape a little off the pill, you test it, you're like, okay, it's got no fentanyl in it, but does it have xylazine in it? There's no test strip for that as far as I know yet. So yeah, I mean, these people are just creeps. They're ruining drugs for everybody. Absolutely ruining them.
Well, it's funny because we had this, and we're driving home on Mother's Day from my parents' house, and there was on the radio there was a news from somewhere where some guy was getting arrested because his girlfriend died because he put meth on like her food. And he's like, why? I took meth a day or so ago, and I enjoyed it. I thought she might like it.
What a dick! What a selfish prick!
But here's the thing. And I go, here's my question. This is going to be like the toughest sell ever. If you're talking about a drug, meth has to be like the toughest sell of all the drugs out there because you see the after effect.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going like if you take this drug, you might look just like this person. You're like,
Yeah,
no.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, we saw this massive spike with a lot of these drugs during the whole beer bug thing, and it's gotten out of control at this point.
Yeah,
and of course, it all started with the legal prescription drugs being fucking given to anybody who had the slightest fucking pain on for anything. And then they got hooked, and these people had to go out in the street once it was cut off and go find the easiest. Well, what's cheaper than the pills? Heroin's cheaper. So you start taking heroin, and now they're cutting heroin with fentanyl, and now you're dead. So, we're in a real shit fest. And you're right. What a bummer topic to bring up.
Yeah.
But an important one. Important one.
Exactly. Yeah. Be careful what you're
Be careful out there.
And taking.
Yeah. Take drugs. Don't take drugs. I mean, don't take their. But I mean,
don't take drugs. Don't take drugs. Drugs are bad.
Prescription stuff. You know what it is? Weed, because you can't put this shit in weed yet. Fentanyl can't put it in weed. Doesn't survive the burn. So you're safe with the weed for now. But everything else, Jesus Christ, you might as well be flipping a coin. It's a sad state of affairs.
Okay, right. Well, let's
on that note,
let's bring this up a notch, okay? Derek, I know you're a big frequenter of the TikToks, right?
Fuck.
You go on there and you watch all the TikToks, like every
hell
single one
no.
Of them. Yeah,
fuck that.
There's this camera technology on TikTok that you can split the camera into quadrants, and each quadrant takes a picture at a different time, and you can do whatever to make it look like you're doing something, So here's one. This chick's dressed up as, I'm guessing, Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. Here we go. Pause that, because that's going to probably get caught up. But let's just watch it. That's all that matters. Now, she's flying.
Good.
Oh, no.
She's got a pair of nuts. Way to go. Yeah, TikTok's such garbage. I can't believe people even use this platform. It's really unreal to me. It's just garbage with a capital G.
I can't even classify that as flying. Clearly her nutsack is holding her up.
She's really good to balance on it so well, though. They got to be a stiff pair of nuts.
Great core strength,
Hate to see her penis, Jesus. All
right.
Although her nuts might make the penis put it to shame. Who knows? Probably would. Those are a big sack of nuts.
Oh, great.
All right.
Judgmental.
I didn't know you
Beauty
had all
says,
this jocularity in store for us tonight.
balls of
Balls
steel.
of steel.
Good Lord, moving on me. All right.
Mhm.
All right, just another quick little video here. Just, it's like 15 seconds.
All right.
Yeah. They look like they have something in their mouths, probably trying to see who laughs and spits up first. It's probably
Okay.
the gag running on here.
Buddy Matt's birthday, so I'm making him a cookie of the letter M.
Hmm.
Oh. Buddy Matt's birthday, so I'm making him.
So
Well done.
I just love the placement of the chocolate.
Oh, Jesus. And was this on TikTok as well?
That or a short, I'm not sure. It doesn't say TikTok anywhere, but still.
Now this is worth it. This
Yeah.
is worth it.
You have to weed through all the garbage to get to this. Oh man.
And you know that's real. There's no way when he put that M in there it looked anything like that. So
No, he absolutely finagled it. 'Cause, I mean,
Jesus.
like there's no chocolate chip, okay? None.
No, there is one right at the bottom. You can see it. Yeah,
Right
right,
here?
there. Yeah. It just melted and blew up.
I think he finagled.
You think he finagled that?
100%.
All right. Well done anyhow.
Yeah, this is
Well
still
done.
great. Their reaction is probably the best part of it. Yeah, what
It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. That's pretty funny. God, you just saw you did all day. You didn't research any soccer. You just fucking
Dude, my school blocked Twitter, so I this is why nobody saw me on Twitter today.
Well, call your brother. What the fuck? He's in charge of that shit.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, bro, you fucking dick. Why did you block Twitter? You fucking cunt.
I want to get on the social medias, man. Instead of work, come on, man.
Does
It's
your
actually more
brother
productive
run all
than you
that
would've
shit
thought.
for the district? Call him and tell him to quit being such a prick. All right. What do we got? Anything soccer related at all? Anything?
Oh,
Anything?
yeah, coming up soon.
Soon. Oh, okay, good.
I think this is the last one I got here. So here's a post. He says, "You'll never read a more beautiful social media post in your life."
All right, Jim Clark.
Can you read that?
Today I operated on a little girl. Oh, Jesus. Where is this going? She needed O blood. We didn't have any, but her twin brother has O blood. I explained to him that it was a matter of life and death. He sat quietly for a moment and then said goodbye to his parents. I didn't think anything of it until after we took his blood, and he asked, "So when will I die?" He thought he was giving his life for hers. Thankfully, they both died. What the fuck? What the fuck? Where are you getting this shit?
Oh man.
Thankfully, they both died. What the fuck?
Nobody saw that coming. That's the ultimate
Jesus.
subverting of expectations there.
I did not see that coming. That threw me for a curveball.
Oh man.
All right. Okay.
That doesn't take
And
right.
now actual soccer.
on to the topics. We're only 30 minutes into fun topics. Good one Debbie Downer in there, but the rest were fun.
Well, there's not a lot going on in the soccer world, so it's okay.
Before we get into
Oh,
some of
God.
the transfer news I got coming up here, you can already hear in the
Oh,
background.
good.
that whole-
Transfer news. Transfer news.
Before we get in there, you can kind of hear it running in there, but I want to pull this up real quick. This is
Oh,
gonna be a
we're not
quick
going
talk.
there. Okay.
Not
All
just
right.
yet. It's in the background.
Okay.
Brian DeMarco posts on our channel. I'm going to bring it up here in a sec.
Okay.
That there's a relegation fight that no one's talking about.
There's a relegation fight that no one is talking about for Americans abroad. Zwickau is about to drop out of 3 Bundesliga and will take Nico Carrera and Johan Gomez down with them. The big question, does anyone care? I think they have an American coach too, Joe Enox. So no, I don't know if anyone cares.
You're right. Nobody is talking about it.
Isn't Nico Carrera on a loan?
I have no idea.
I know Johan Gomez is signed there.
Yeah.
And he didn't help Joe Enox at all. I don't even know if Joe Enox still has a job there, honestly. I stopped following Zwickau probably last year. God. And so, that's sad. I'm sad to hear that, Brian.
Nope, it looks like Carrera does in fact play for them, yes.
Who's the coach still? Is it Joe?
Hold on 1 second.
One of those rare Americans. By the way, speaking of rare Americans, Hurlitzer for St. Pauli. They're going up, man. They're going up.
Manager is Ronnie Thielman.
Okay, so yeah, Enox got fired. It doesn't surprise me.
Berlin mentioned it. He goes, Enox moved on, I think.
Probably not on his own choice, would be my guess. Larry, $2. Twitter is deleted till Derek puts on the Shea wig. Dude, I am not putting on a Shea wig. It ain't happening. I don't want to look anything like that punk ass bitch. All right.
He says, or Brett. I don't have a problem putting anything on. If you got a Shea wig, I'll put it on one show.
I mean, this is the guy who's going to meet you halfway, so yeah, he'll put it on.
maybe that's the reason why he tipped 2 there.
All right. All right, other soccer news.
All right, let's bounce into the transfer news.
Transfer news. Everybody likes their transfer news, but Derek. All right, here we go. Manchester United head coach Eric Ten Hag reportedly has his eyes set on, are you fucking kidding me, 21-year-old FC Utrecht midfielder Taylor Booth. No, he does not. He does not. U.S. men's national team only. This is not true. Ten Hag's interest in Booth may also be influenced by drugs, but his past at Utrecht, where he played and managed the club and still has strong ties. Listen, I'm sure he's got strong ties. He's probably got a few ex-girlfriends that still live there or whatever. And I'm sure he shows up when he needs some extra loving and a nice reach around. But I'm telling you what, the only reason he might have eyes on Taylor Booth is because he watches the games. That's it. That's the only reason he might have eyes. And yes, did Taylor Booth have above average season at Utrecht when he was healthy? He certainly did. But it's nothing that is Manchester United. It's not a magnet for a team like that, okay? It's just not. I mean, if Taylor Booth could move up to one of the better teams in Holland, that's a step up. If he ends up playing for Feyenoord or PSV or AZ, then talk to me. But he's playing at Utrecht, and yeah, they had a middle-of-the-road season, and he had some really great games. But is he a Manchester United player? Let's not fool ourselves. All right? Let's not go there. Diego 29 Mendoza. I hope that's really you, my brother. Tampa Bay is playing you. Tom Brady? Taylor Booth. I know. Booth. Taylor Booth is playing UCL football next season. Is he?
Do you want to predict who it is? I've got that. It's the next slide. I'm going to pull up here in just a second. Do you want to predict? It's rumored, but
Utrecht's not playing in the Champions League next season. No. Okay.
We're in transfer news, Derek. This isn't stay at your current club news.
Oh yeah, it is for him. It is for him. Taylor Booth is not going anywhere. A name that has been reportedly been brought to Napoli's attention. Oh my fucking God. When in discussion with Christian Pulisic's agency, FC Utrecht and U.S. international Taylor Booth. Really? Are we doing this? His Italian passport and potentially facilitate an $8 to $10 million move.
$8 to $10?
Or euros, to Napoli. What is it with fucking Napoli all of a sudden? Now everybody's linked to Napoli because the owner let it slip. He really wants to have an American on his team? Come on. No way. Well, much more likely.
we'll jump. Let's jump right into the other one. Do you have anything else to go with Booth going on here?
No, this
Do
is
you have
all
any other
bullshit.
comments?
It's all bullshit. That's my comment. This is bullshit. Do not listen to it. Here's more bullshit. Napoli have been in touch with Wasserman Agency over a potential move for 22-year-old. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Well,
Why is Napoli so desperate for players who are not even really near their peak or reaching any high level yet? Yes, Booth had a good season. He's nowhere near. Pulisic at least has played some big games in his career. That's the kind of guy you go after. You don't go after Booth. Booth needs a couple more years of seasoning. And Jesus Ferreira, he needs a lot more than seasoning. He needs gravy, a long basting, all kinds of shit to make him taste good. I'm sorry. Jesus Ferreira's cheap meat, man. You got to do a lot to tenderize that shit. He's got a lot of he's got so much work to do. Jesus has multiple clubs interested, and he will be in Europe rather sooner than later, but Napoli ain't one of the clubs. Thank you, Diego.
He also follows up by saying,
Wasserman doing Jesus nasty with this fake rumor. They couldn't have told Seller, I'm not going to pronounce that, or Lecce to publish this. Yeah, seriously, that's more along the lines of the clubs that would go after him. Lecce, not AC Milan, not Napoli, not Juventus, not Inter. Can we stop being fools? Please stop being fools on this. The forward of FC, are you just telling me there's so
read.
Said that it is a lie that there is an offer from Napoli. Thank you, Jesus, for being real. I don't know anything. It's not true. I have no idea. I have no idea where it came from. Some dumb fuckers on Twitter. That's where it came from. Don't believe these people. When you see this shit, you go post at them and say, you're full of shit. Stop posting horse shit just so you can get fucking, likes or views or whatever they're going after. No, I put out a report about all these Wasserman quotes, and I list all the players that are under Wasserman and say, you want to know who's leaking about Greg? These people are. And I told you who they were. And now that's actual news because I had some shit that I knew about. But this is not news. This is just bullshit these people post because A, they're bored. B, they've already jerked it 4 times today and they got nothing else to do with their lives except to lie.
The benefit outside of having an above average or solid enough year with Utrecht is that Booth does have the passport and wouldn't count against the non-Italian transfer regulations that Serie A has. So there's that going for him.
Yeah, but he's more likely to play for a mid-table to lower table Italian team than a giant like Napoli, who, by the way, right now, does anybody know how good Napoli is? They really need Taylor Booth riding their pine? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, they could be looking towards the future, but yeah, who knows? I don't necessarily.
They could buy him and loan him.
Twice possible,
suppose, but that's sort of a Chelsea and a Chelsea thing to do, or a Man City thing to do, and I don't think Napoli are kind of in the business of just wanking off and buying players and then loaning them out forever. That's not really what they do there.
Well, I mean, they're going to be in all the tournaments next year, so maybe they're looking to strengthen their bench.
Okay,
I'm just saying. I'm playing devil's advocate there, Derek.
You certainly are, Satan. You certainly are. You're playing Satan right now because, I don't want to justify any of these dumb rumors because they're horrible and they're a waste of our time and everybody's time. They really are.
Here's the thing. Let's say if the Booth rumor comes true and Napoli does buy him, Derek has an out because he could say, okay, 1 out of 1 million came true.
How many times we've been out for how long now? A year and a half? Almost 2 years?
No. Little over 2 years.
Okay. How many times have I eaten crow on this show? Of all the ridiculous,
that's about it.
Ridiculous shit that I said, I've eaten
even
crow
then, we weren't
once.
necessarily wrong, but we were wrong at the time.
Yeah, all right. One time in 2 years.
Crow too. Yeah.
And I say some silly shit on this show, but have I had to eat crow? No, I haven't really have to. And I like eating crow. Tastes like chicken. All right. What you got? More Liga MX side, Atletico de San Luis is close to signing former U.S. men's national team U20 international Alex Mendez. That might be a step up for him as a reinforcement. Mendez does not occupy a foreign position since he has dual nationality. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, rough season over there.
Atletico de San Luis would be a step up from playing in Portugal.
Riding Pine, which is what he's doing right now in Vizela. He has been at the end of the season.
Well, I guess you got to take into consideration the longevity of his career there. He hadn't always been riding Pine. Is it just a newer occasion, like the last month or so? Here's
the thing, Brett. When you were once a regular starter, and as you got older, they figure out he's not really that good. That's not good. Now he rides Pine, and yes, it's been towards the end of the season, maybe the last 3 or 4 games.
Something as simple as him getting injured and then coming back from injury, and then his replacement's actually doing well. I don't know. I don't follow this. What team is it again? I know it starts with a V. I was going to say Venezia, but I knew
Vizela.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't follow them, so.
No, listen. If he was that good, Vizela being a team where they are in the division, really wouldn't have any choice but to continue to play him. But he hasn't been that good. He's been okay. And so if you're playing okay for Vizela in Portugal, that's not good. And yeah, so a move to San Luis is probably not going to solve his problem. It probably isn't going to solve his problem. Because guess what? San Luis probably is pretty on par skill-wise as far as their pool of players, even though they're not a great team.
We'll come back to that.
Vizela. So I've heard from Portugal Geek, he is lazy. I don't know. It's possibly true he doesn't work hard enough on the training field. I don't know. Or the training pitch, if you're British or English. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. But you know what? It hasn't. His whole career so far has not bode well for him. Listen, you got to follow how he's progressing, right? How he's doing. And we have not seen him light any shit on fire at all and drop it at somebody's doorstep. He's basically one of the kids behind the bushes that just giggles and laughs. He's not a standout guy. He's not stepping up and taking, full responsibility and to be a star on any club he's been on. So, yeah, we all had high hopes for Mendes, but sometimes you have to say, this one might not work out. And it's okay to say that. It's okay. If you don't want to give up on him, you don't have to. I'm not giving up on him necessarily. I'm just saying I don't have high hopes. I'm not laying awake at night going, oh, Alex Mendez, I really hope he pulls it out there in Vizela. No, because, if he does, it's great. If he doesn't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Kearney, thank you, my brother, for $15. Brett will more than drive at least 3/4 of the way there. All right, depending on where you are, what's going on with the Canadian soccer election? Man, he gives us $15 and hits us with a real zinger. Like I care? I don't know. Oh, Canada. I'm just not very Canuck-like.
Quite frankly, I had no idea they were even in, they were doing an election.
Is Trump running? I don't know. Just asking. I don't know.
I know there's an interim. I quickly looked when this popped up. There's an interim president who now has one person going against him for the presidency. I guess I don't know. That's as much as I know, and that's as much as I read from a quick article.
If John Candy were still alive, I might follow this more closely because he did a hell of a job with that bobsled team. All right, what else we got, Brett?
Yeah, sorry, Kearney?
Yeah, Kearney, we're just not Canadian.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not Canadian.
If you have a different question you want us to answer in the chat, I'll happily pull it up for the 15 that you brought up, but I got nothing for you there, man.
We're not Canadian experts, eh? All right? We don't know a lot about Canada.
Outside of the movie Strange Brew, I don't know much.
I like Moosehead and Molson Golden, eh? Molson Golden's good beer, eh?
I'll keep an eye on the chat to see if you post something there. But
All right, what do we got? Gotta keep this show rolling, dude.
yeah.
Stalling out here. Stalling out.
Well, we got hit with a question. We didn't have anything.
There we go.
Man.
All right. No, we righted the ship. All right. There's more. Brave Green TV, English Premier Club, let's just call them Wolves, are interested in Seattle Sounders midfielders Obeg Vargas and Reed Baker Whiting. Okay, I could see the Obeg Vargas thing. He seems to have a high ceiling. I don't know a lot about the guy who's named after a fish, but I just read Baker Whiting. I'm thinking, I don't know. I like when I bake my whiting. It's really good. First, I cover it with a nice crust, and
Sounds like an innuendo if I've ever heard one, Derek.
Panko, and then you bake it in the oven, and it comes out.
You bake your whiting often?
Have you not had whiting before? The fish? It's really good.
Just assumed it was a nickname for your penis, Derek.
No, it is not. No. So, no, I can see this possibly being true for Wolves. But, I mean, if Wolves hasn't been totally turned off by Odasawi at this point from Americans altogether, I mean, if they think that this guy could be no, he's nothing like Odasawi. Let's be honest. Who's like Odasawi? There aren't many guys like Odasawi out there.
Yeah. Ain't nobody like Odasawi.
So, I mean, you got Conrad, you got Sebastian Soto, and outside of that, there aren't a whole lot of guys on his level, and even he makes Soto and Conrad look great. So Odasawi's a fucking laugh. He's a joke, unfortunately. And he doesn't know it. Maybe he knows it now. Maybe he's gotten humble. Maybe he's had some humble pie. I hope he has, because he's given a lot of opportunities at Wolves, and he should have gotten, if he had any sense at all, some opportunities at Bruges, because he started the first game with Bruges in the season, right? I mean, what bigger message could you have been given by a team that, hey, we're going to give you some chances here, and then to go out and completely blow it and fly back to England or wherever he went? Nobody even knew where he went for a while. So I don't know. Odasawi's got to figure that out. So poor kid.
Yeah.
I wish him the best. Hope he gets his head on straight. What else you got?
Moving on.
Gio Reyna, oh boy, does not make it easy for me because he could start the matches. He challenges other guys every day. This is the concept of performance that we want to have. All right. I don't doubt Terzic said this. Makes sense. Yeah. There's so many goddamn great players on Dortmund right now.
And he's tough because he is going in there and he is scoring goals. Now, mind you, the times he's going in there of late has been when they're up like 4-0. And it's like at that point in the end of the game, the opposition's kind of coasting, and because they're not going to come back from that point.
Yeah,
but still, he has something like as of right now, he's got like a goal every like 43 minutes. It's something stupid since the World Cup or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy, you give him 10 minutes, you give him 5 minutes, give him 20 minutes, even 3 minutes, he'll score.
Yeah,
he'll score on your mom.
Yeah,
no problem.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. I pulled this from Pete. Pete says Gio's doing what he needs to do in training, plus delivering on the pitch. When Bellingham leaves next season, he'll be a starter, and we'll see pre-injury Gio again.
I mean, he was a starter before, so there's no reason to think he can't be a starter again.
Different coach at the time, though.
Yeah,
I mean, he still could be a starter now. Yes. I don't know. It just seems like since the injury, he's been sidelined.
No, let's be really honest about it. What's happened is Terzic has started a group of players, a core group of players every game, and they're kicking ass. Yeah. And he doesn't want to stop doing it.
Don't break what's not broken. You're 1 point away from winning the league. So
they got chemistry going on. So there's no point in screwing that up by bringing in a whole new player on the starting 11.
There are a number of people that are talking about when Bellingham leaves that Gio's going to slide into that position. I don't know if you remember there was a comment made pre-injury that Gio was actually being groomed to take over for Marco Royce whenever he retires as their long-term franchise-style player. Now, I don't know if that's still the case or not, but that's what was being talked pre-injury.
I don't want to wait that long because there's no guarantee Royce is fucking retiring anytime soon.
Well, I mean, hopefully at this point, hopefully before that point comes, before he's a consistent franchise starter and everything like that, he's playing games and starting other matches and maybe even a consistent starter outside of Royce playing. So who knows?
Royce is going to play for a handful of more years. I think he's looking that good. Why would he retire now? I don't know why. So I think it's more likely that, we see Reyna in sort of a left midfield spot or even up top, out wide, depending on how they decide to keep playing. It's hard to say. They're a fluid team, so they do move a lot of pieces around during the game. And a lot of the time, they'll let Reyna kind of free roam it earlier in the season. Not so much now. Kind of keeps.
Berlin, you know what I mean by when I say franchise player.
Dortmund doesn't franchise players.
You know what I mean by this.
They're not McDonald's. He's 33. Retirement, or he falls off. One will happen the next few years. I don't want to wait a few years. I want to see Reyna play pretty soon. I don't want to wait 2 or 3 years to see Reyna become a regular starter. I think he'll still figure out a way because Bellingham will leave. That will open up some space in the midfield area for him to get more time. We'll see where it goes from there. He's a talented player. I mean, ceiling still the highest of any American out there. So we just got to be patient, little patient. He's still young. We'll see what happens. Malik Tillman picked up the PFA Young Player of the Year award last night. That's voted on by his peers, believe it or not. That's not a fan award. So 28 appearances, 10 goals, 4 assists, 46 chances created. As it stands, how would you feel about Rangers activating that $5 million buyout option? Might as well. If they got $5 million lying around, I'd say do it because he looks like he could be a long-term 4 or 5 year player for Rangers. Not that Tillman may not want to be there for that long, but
what I was just thinking, yeah.
I mean, where's he going to go back to Bayern?
Well, I mean,
he's not going to play there.
His resume is now padded a little bit. He could get he wouldn't play for Bayern by any means, but he could get a better loan option or a better sell-on option to a different team.
I don't think so. I don't think so. He didn't really. He had a good season. But again, it's like we talk about Taylor Booth. It's not like he blew anybody's fucking dick off. It was a decent season. A really good season. He wasn't fucking, Maradona or Peleing the fucking Scottish Premier League. All right? It wasn't that good. It was good, but it wasn't like blow your dick off good. Malik already told the team he wants out and plans to train with Bayern in the preseason. Yeah, they'll just loan him out to somebody else. Probably probably a Bundesliga team. Maybe Celtic, yeah. Just to piss Rangers off.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
I'd almost be okay with that just to see the drama unfold.
Listen, there are a lot of players that have gone to Rangers and haven't necessarily had like the best of times. Beasley would be one. He was okay there, but kind of a roller coaster for him there. And he had problems with the fans.
Picked up a lot of knocks there too, man.
Somebody pooped in his car.
Oh, that's
somebody took a poop in his car. Yeah, I mean, it's rough there. That was probably racist by somebody who was racist. I don't know. But anyhow, Beasley didn't have the best of times at Rangers. Reyna, his father, Claudio, had an all right time. They called him Captain America. I think he played left back most of the time when he was out there. But anyhow, this is a good start, and I'm sure Tillman wants to go back to Germany and see what other options there are out there outside of playing in Scotland. Why not look at one of the new, promoted teams getting a loan to one of those teams or getting a loan to Augsburg and hang out with Pepe? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I don't know, man. For if $5 million is the buyout option, I imagine there are going to be a number of teams knocking. Because I mean, that's
cheap.
That's not it's not out of most of Bundesliga ballpark. So
yeah, I did agree with you. I think most German teams could afford $5 million. Yes. I don't know if they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They might take a loan and take a look-see because, like you and me, they're saying, okay, yeah, 10 goals in Scottish Premier League. Good job.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
mainly played as a wing option, or he plays in the midfield. It's not that bad. It's not terrible.
All right.
I mean, yes, it is a Scottish league, but it is also his first actual season playing consistent a senior level. You know, as prior to that, he was playing for Bayern 2.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah,
I am actually saying it's good. I'm just saying, it's the really nice girl that you meet who's fairly attractive, but doesn't give you what you need. It's kind of like, that's good. But it's not like mind-blowing. What he did was not mind-blowing. In fact, he had parts of the season this year in Scotland where things were rough for him. He had bad games. So it's not like he was a consistent guy you could depend on every game for Rangers, especially in the big games versus Celtic, where there were games where he disappeared. So he didn't have good games. All right. Yeah. I'm not milking
I don't think Rangers is his long-term home, though.
No, it's not. And I'm not milking every cow you roll in here, Brett.
Milk them all. Come on.
Zach McCabe, one of our favorites. This is good news for U.S. men's national team and added depth piece that is needed with Acosta and others aging. Also, if they want to call up a midfielder from the MLS, Tim Tillman is the best option, arguably the best U.S. eligible midfield player in the MLS. I'd say that's pretty accurate right now. I mean, look who he cut out of the lineup there. He stole a starting spot at LAFC. That's pretty crazy. But he did file his one-time switch, which, thank you, Timothy. I'm glad you did it. I think you will find yourself in a camp here soon. I really do.
Gold Cup guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yep.
That's the only reason why he'd file the one-time switch now is because he's been in contact with USSF, and they're like, we'll bring you in Gold Cup because it's predominantly going to be more or less an MLS-based squad. Because European squads aren't going to want their players brought over for Nations League and then kept for almost an entire month following that for Gold Cup. So we're going to see a predominantly MLS Gold Cup again.
And, yeah. Well, and Tillman also went through the respective pageantry that you need to go through in order to become eligible. He had someone from U.S. Soccer come over to his apartment. He took a shower with him, and they pissed on his leg. So we're ready to go to the next stage.
Problem solved. Guaranteed player now.
Yes. The old pee on the leg move. That's how they do it at U.S. Soccer.
Well, Derek, I am all out of fluff pieces, and we're going to bounce into one of our main topics here. We're only an hour into the show.
That was some serious fluff, dude.
I will say, and I'll talk to you after the show about this, Derek, but I did get notification from somebody that John Brooks has been contacted.
By whom?
People. We'll go into more detail later.
Tact?
John Brooks was contacted by Tact?
Tact knows John Brooks people. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know why he's talking to him.
I don't know. Maybe he wants to have an interview with him. Have him come on the show. It wouldn't be beyond Tact.
Okay, I guess let me rephrase this. It's been contacted by U.S. Soccer.
Okay, but who in U.S. Soccer? Gooch? The coach?
Hold on one second.
All right.
Contacted by Hudson. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. So Hudson wants to bring him back in, and that means he's got to fly over to Germany, and they've got to do the pageantry, re-entry, pee on the leg, and then he'll be back in it. No, listen, Hudson is not Greg Berhalter. Hudson, you can already tell by his demeanor, is not a fucking tightwad super sensitive cunt. All right, because that's what Greg is. You have a disagreement with Greg, you are thrown out. He doesn't want any dissent, despite him putting together the players, whatever table, the players council, whatever. Those are the players that aren't going to ruffle any feathers, right? They're the ones that will suckle Greg's nipples. He's not going to bring in a John Brooks and put him on the council. Trust me. But you know what? Hudson wouldn't have any issue with that at all, because Hudson doesn't deal with this like it's some fucking leadership experiment that he's doing out of a book that he just read. All right. I don't think Hudson operates that way. Brooks, Scally, Pepe, Reyna. That's it right there. Yeah. Yep.
So, question, I guess the big question would be, is that if Brooks was contacted by Hudson and he is planning on using him this summer, is it going to be Nations League or is it going to be Gold Cup? Because he could make either squad. He's not going to make both, but he could make either squad.
Which one is most likely to be the team the A squad, right? That's going to be Gold Cup.
League.
Nations League. Okay, Nations League. Yeah, why did I think Gold? Oh yeah,
Gold Cup.
Gold Cup's going to be like the B squad this year, right?
It's going to be predominantly MLS squad plus some Euros who didn't make Nations League, basically.
Yeah, man, it's kind of sad to see that, but it's happened before.
Well, and here's the thing. Brooks said that he's like, hey, if I continue to play well, I think I could work my way back in the national team. At that point, would he scoff at the opportunity of playing in the Gold Cup? Or, I honestly think that Hudson would probably be aiming to bring him in for Nations League.
I think if Tim Ream's wanking arm is still injured and CCV's having physical issues, I think you bring Brooks in with McKenzie and others. No, I think that CCV is going to get over this injury. So it'll be CCV, Brooks, McKenzie, no Ream. Ream, that injury is going to take a while to fix. And then they'll probably do the Zimmerman thing again, right? Because they do that all the time. I can't really see how EPB deserves a shot. His team is now basically relegated. They were awful this weekend, by the way. And so he wasn't that great.
Yeah.
I think Troy lost 4-0 this weekend. I'm just thinking of anybody else I'm missing. Trusty might be another option. So that's 5 guys I can think of right now already. And that's as much as you're going to bring to a Nations League game. 5 center backs.
Didn't EPB
probably
just
4.
Didn't Troy just get relegated?
Yeah, that's what I just said. They're done.
Sorry. I saw that you got responded to by your favorite MLS lawyer on Twitter. So.
Oh, that cunt.
For those who haven't, I'll pull it up. You want to just real quick. There's a whole topic about where he was responding to somebody who Urban Pitch, who was talking about how there's never going to be a Wrexham in the United States because of the whole relegation promotion thing. And and Andrew goes on to a whole 4 or 5 parter or something like that, talking part by part about how there are certain things in the U.S. soccer community that have that same feel to it.
Okay.
And they go on, Chris Gary mentions how he completely missed the point, et cetera, et cetera. And Andrew says, counterpoint, he's not missing the point. I initially thought when he says, I am not, as far as saying he's not Derek's favorite sports lawyer. He could have been saying both.
He could have been saying both. It's possible. And then he said, counterpoint, I'm not. I just said compelling. I try. All right. Well, Andrew, we'll see. Sorry I called you a cunt. I didn't mean it. I don't want to be sued. Can he sue me for calling him a cunt?
No.
How
would you get sued? What would that possibly be sued for?
He would say, I am not a cunt. I am not physically a cunt.
I guess in that sense you could say, yeah, he's not technically a cunt.
You're not literally one. You're just figuratively one. I was speaking figuratively. So don't take me to court for disparaging words or what do they call that when you say something about somebody and
libel or your slander,
slander,
defamation,
defamation? That's the one. He's like, do I look like I need to be shaved?
You are a big pussy.
Do I look like I need to have a douche? No, you are a douche. That's the problem. All right. What do we got?
Here we go. I guess Chris Gary just sent us something. I'll pull this up real quick before we get into the actual topic I meant to start about 10 minutes ago.
Look at how eloquently Anthony Hudson puts on glasses. He puts Greg to shame in every natural-looking way you can possibly do.
Class.
CLAASS, whereas Greg's only the ASS part. That's the problem.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Greg added the LESS at the end of it.
Classless. Oh, no. Just the ASS part. All right. Coach Anthony Hudson plans to take the same group of players to CNL, Nations League Final Four, and to the Gold Cup. Plans to take the same group. Okay, that's
I'm kind of surprised by that.
Me too.
I mean, you're talking about a month and a half of the preseason and summer break for these players.
No shit.
That's stretching those players. I understand the building of chemistry. I remember Edgar posting this. This is going back to May 5th, but that's kind of surprising.
Well, let's think about it.
I guess you could substitute some players in and some players out.
Let's think about it. How many players are playing like regular ball? It ain't Weah, right?
Of course he is. He's playing regular left back and right back.
No, he's not. He played center forward this weekend, Brett, and he was yanked at the 65th minute or somewhere around there.
Yeah, you guys I should have just played him at left back and right back.
He's not really played that even consistently, though, right back. And he got injured again. Remember the head thing? So there's that. Here's a guy who didn't play that much. Pulisic hasn't played that much. Reyna's not playing that much. Adams is.
So you're saying they've already had their summer break and they need to get back into the fold of things.
Aaronson's a bench warmer. McKennie's the only guy busting his balls 90 minutes every game I can think of right now. Ream's injured, so he'll have a break. Zimmerman plays. Luca De La Torre only usually plays about 60 to 70 minutes a game. Zimmerman plays in MLS. Dest doesn't play. Only now Jedi plays, he needs a break, probably a rest.
Brooks has been playing.
I mean, Brooks is finally playing, but he has not played that much until recently. Turner, he's just stroking his big fucking fat cock on the fucking bench every goddamn game.
Well, good for him.
He is well rested. So I guess what we're saying here is we don't have like a team of players that's busting their nuts 90 minutes a game all season long, you know? So why not have the same group of guys for both? I'm with Edgar. Why not?
Balogun's also playing regularly. Pepe's playing regularly. Sargent was playing regularly.
Yep, Pepe was. Sargent was. Yep. Who else you say? Booth's been injured. So
Balogun was the other one. It was a joking quote, but or it may not even be joking. I guess if he announces.
Did you know Booth didn't play this weekend at all? He was not even in the 18. He's injured again. So yeah,
joygasm.
Yeah, the idea is for the team to get more games.
What is it with this group of players, this age group, this like 24 to 18 that just suffer injury after injury?
It's those bad American genes, man.
They need to have Weston needs to introduce them to the fountain of youth that he apparently has found.
Champagne?
Probably. That might be it.
Champagne. All right. Is that all we got from Edgar?
Yes.
All right.
But this is going to take us into our actual topic here, I guess. We're an hour and 10 minutes into it. Let's get into it.
All right. Let's do it.
Derek, Leeds had kind of an up and down game this past week. Emotionally, not even just performance, but emotionally.
It was crazy, dude.
You start off the game, you get that early goal. Things are flowing. You're playing against, the third best team in EPL. Things are flying. Leeds was playing well at the beginning of the game. And then they draw a PK. Firpo draws a PK. like at the 20th minute, and you're like,
Yeah.
20 minutes in, they're going to be up 2-0 on
Yep.
on practically a must-win game.
Yep.
Unheard of.
But Bamford walks trembling up to the PK line and makes a horrible
27,
kick,
yeah.
and it's easily saved, and they go on to a 2-2 tie.
So I stopped. I was posting here, and I wrote 27th minute in, Firpo taking down the box, PK or PK leads, and I was going to say I wrote Bamford goal, and then I wrote the scoreline Leeds 2-0 Newcastle, and then I sat there and I waited before I hit submit. I waited because I was like, normally I'd feel confident if anybody else was taking it, I'd feel confident that it was going to be a goal, but I waited. And then he got stopped, and I had to erase part of it and rewrite it.
I know you did, but did you see all the when they panned the crowd as Bamford was setting the ball down? Though all those Leeds fans were doing this, all of them. Why?
Please.
I tell you why, because Rodrigo should have taken that penalty kick. Now, it's Monday morning quarterback or whatever you want to call it. But I think if you're Big Sam, you're hoping that free kick gives him some pep in his step, right? To continue forward, some confidence, because they're going to need Bamford. And let's be really honest, Bamford did not play bad outside of that fucked up kick. Like he really didn't have he did not have a bad game.
His cross that led to the first goal was a good cross.
Yes.
And the sad thing is if Rodrigo didn't get to it, Rodrigo had a clean head to it, it required the goalkeeper to make a save, and they scored on the follow-up. Ayling scored. But literally, foot behind Rodrigo was Wes, and Wes was lined up to head that back across the goal.
Oh,
he would have scored that. He would have scored it. And I was so stoked because Diego went ahead and dropped 5K on that match on Leeds.
No.
And I'm like, you know what, Diego? You've convinced me. I'm going to drop some money on Leeds. I dropped like 20 on Leeds winning. Pales in comparison, of course, but I dropped 20 on Leeds winning, and then I dropped another 10 on Weston scoring.
10 cents.
$10. And then when West was going for that header, I'm like, yes, and then Rodrigo hit him like, crap. And then I was like, that's still a good hit. And then we got the goal. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Guess what? Also, who was right behind Ayling on his goal? McKennie. Right behind him, waiting for that little easy,
Ayling. Because he corrected course. He would have gotten to it next. Yeah.
Right. He would have been there next. So I'm owed money by Bamford. I bet you are, Diego.
So you don't know this because I don't think you were on Twitter at the time. But Diego had posted. He's like, hey, I'm still up from the night before. I'm going to bet 5K on Leeds, and then by halftime, Diego throws up a halftime spaces on Twitter, talking about how Bamford's a piece of shit. Oh my god! And then he had Newcastle fans jumping on. He had Leeds fans bitching him out. Oh, it was a fun little halftime show.
Like I said, I think Bamford had a really good game outside of that fuck up. But he should never have been allowed to take that penalty kick in the first place. That should have been all Rodrigo's. There should have been no question. And somebody needed to step up and grab the ball out of his hands and say, no, motherfucker, I'm taking this. Or the captain of the team needed to step up and say something to him. So, unfortunately, that's what happened. Leeds should have won 3-2.
Yeah, let's think about this. You had Rodrigo, who's the only player in double digits with goals for Leeds. And you have Bamford, who's been struggle busting all season.
Yep.
The tweet I got pulled up here right now, Bamford had 12 big chances missed this prior to the penalty miss, now 13. Anyone saying he isn't the reason for them going down is lying to themselves. Well,
and unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where Bamford's getting death threats and his family's getting death threats. And that can't happen. That's got to stop. And that's one of the reasons he got off Twitter, because people were telling him to go kill himself. So
I'm all for criticizing. I'm all for just blatant insults, saying, "Hey, you fucking suck," all that shit. I'm perfectly fine with fans voicing their opinions, but when it comes to actual threats and stuff like that, that's uncalled for.
I'm not even sure saying you suck is really, I mean, it's acceptable, but it's not really kind of any criticism that's going to make you get better.
Doesn't matter.
So
I don't police fans. I don't police the fans on their emotions.
No, I'm not policing
when it comes
them.
to threats and stuff.
I am recommending to people who say things like "you suck shit" to say something more productive, like, "Hey, dude, you let Rodrigo take that." Like, that's productive. Like, hey, you should have let Rodrigo take that. Next time, you should think about that. And that's like
Derek,
a productive comment.
I've seen you live watching matches and stuff like that. You're not like that.
No,
you're in the category of when somebody's sucking. I've got text messages showing this.
Yes.
You're the one that's going like, "Oh my God, Bamford sucking donkey balls" or something like that.
I know,
but
that's not a public comment directed to Bamford. Like, I would never go on Bamford's Twitter page and just say, you suck donkey balls. I would never do that. I would probably say something like, "Hey, next time you probably need to hand the ball to Rodrigo on a penalty kick. Think about it." Like, I mean, like what I did with
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Like what I did with Jesse Marsh when Jesse Marsh was posting stuff. I said, "Jesse, think something you need to consider." I tweeted him and said, "Listen, you remember at the beginning of the season when you took over at Leeds and you kept them up by not being an overly dogmatic piece of shit?" I didn't say piece of shit. Maybe you should have kept that whole philosophy going forward, because your dogmatic system is what killed this team. It killed this team. Like, you can't play the same way against every team because every team knows what you're going to do. It's so easy to fix that and to figure out how to counter that. Like, I said that to him. I didn't get a reply. That's fine. I don't care.
One could argue, Derek, the number of times that you may have called somebody a cunt or just downright like laid into them on this show would be as public as any tweet. Now, mind you, this show's not directed to Bamford. We don't sit here and say, "Hey, Bamford, we talked about you at the 56th minute today." But still it is as arguably as public as anything.
I did apologize for Andrew for calling him a cunt. Remember? I said I apologize for calling Andrew a cunt.
Didn't you literally call him a cunt this show?
I know. That's what I said. After I called him a cunt, I said I apologize for calling him a cunt.
You're like, "Well, can I get sued for that?" Yeah, so that was a whole conversation.
No. I wasn't worried about the suit part.
That was just funny. "Andrew, I'm sorry. You're not actually a cunt."
I mean, he probably is. Probably a douche more than a cunt. But anyhow.
Yeah, I guess my stance, and this is my stance on all social medias, quite frankly. I think any form of like public figure, in the sense that it's going to draw in a lot of both love and a lot of hate, should probably not frequent the social medias. Quite frankly, and this is just the way of the internet. I hate it's a horrible thing to say. This is just the way of the internet. People are going to be rude, crude, and downright just brutal to you. Now, when that reverts over to threats or even just racial comments and stuff like that, that's unacceptable. But if somebody wants to reach out to a player and say, "Dude, you fucking sucked that match," I'm perfectly okay with that.
Well,
if the player sucked that match.
You just use a good qualifier, though. You just said you sucked that match. That doesn't mean he sucks all the time.
You've sucked this entire season. I'm perfectly okay with them saying that to Bamford right now.
But at least there's context, right? Isn't just you suck, like, which is probably fine as well. But I think Joe made a good point on his show by saying, the real problem with this isn't so much that people showed up at Bamford's Twitter page and said he sucked and he should kill himself or all this shit. It's that they were obviously punk ass, fake ass, what do you call those counts that people just made up, Yule does suck most of the time. I would agree with that, Jesse.
All the time.
We won't ask who because it's none of our business. That's the problem, that none of these people have the balls to be themselves. At least if you're going to call somebody a cunt, do it and be you, right? Like, if I call somebody cunt here, they know how to get a hold of me. We're not hidden. We're not a mystery. My email is publicly available out there, and so is yours. And so is the way to contact me on Twitter. So it's not like I'm hiding anywhere, right? I'm not hiding.
And here's the thing with like the threats and the remarks that Bamford may have been receiving at that point is, quite frankly, most of them are probably fake ditch accounts.
Yes, that's what I said.
Burners. They're just people who are doing it anonymously that they can go out and voice their opinion. Now, mind you, it's not an opinion to say, you should die in a burning fire. Well, I guess all fires are burning technically, but
like rain is wet
in a fire or something like that. That's different than saying, dude, why would you possibly ever take that PK? You've sucked this entire season. Give it to somebody who's actually good. That's different. That's perfectly fine to say to somebody who's playing at that high level, who's playing the peak. You've got to be able to either have thick skin to take it, or like for your own sanity, stay off the internet, stay off social media. Quite frankly,
but Brett, if you're going to make a comment like that to somebody, shouldn't you do it with a real account that's you?
I'm fine with you doing it as a real account anonymously, just not a burner account that you created yesterday with no followers.
Fuck that anonymous bullshit.
It's a goofy world that we're living in this time of age,
Dude, if you're gonna go out there and call somebody a cunt, have the balls to at least fucking be yourself, and then take whatever reply you get. But if you're just gonna like create a burner account and tell somebody to go kill themselves, fuck you. You're a piece of trash. Really, seriously, don't do that.
So he does mention, he goes, it is a
small minority.
The majority, I guess, very small majority. I think minority would probably be a better term there, but it is a small group of people. The problem is any of them, when you're a public figure in that sense, and you're starting to get these death threats, it doesn't matter if they're just burner accounts, or if you're not taking them that serious, like well, this isn't real. They're doing this so they can say this really mean shit. But you've got to take it all serious. It doesn't matter if it's just one or two people. It still sucks to get.
You also need to take serious that fucking clown Leeds fan that charged the field during the game just to go up to Hal and then tap him on the shoulder and go, "You suck," or whatever he said. Fuck you. Like, dude, you're going to get banned for the rest of your life. Like, that's your decision that you may decide to make. Like, you're going to walk up to a guy and tap him on his shoulder and say you suck and then get arrested and taken off the field and be banned from Ellen Road for the rest of your life? I mean, that's the problem. We've got mentally unstable people out there who don't realize the consequences of their dumb fucking actions. And listen, we talked about this before on the show, but going to tell players to go kill themselves or anybody else, I think is a really bad thing to do right now. I mean,
hold on, I'll come back to this quote in just a second. But he does. Minger does comment on that too. Leeds already said he's banned for life.
Yep.
Another knobhead out
of the club. Not a
problem.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad he's gone.
Now people are immune from criticism because they were abused by a select few. I'm still sitting here saying that.
No, I agree.
Sucked donkey balls all season.
That's the problem, Dan W. You are right. That people will equate what we do here, or what Tack does, or what Pete does, or what anybody else does on their show, and say, "Well, you guys are inspiring this abuse." No, we're not, motherfuckers. We're sensible people here. We say why Bamford sucks. We give a real reason, but we never, ever say that Bamford should die or he should kill himself. No one says that here. We are totally against that. And yet people get blamed all the time for being, apparently we are spurring on people to be hateful. No, we're not. And don't lie and don't say that, because it's not fucking true. Anybody I call a cunt here, it's just it's a joke. All right.
I'm only liable for what I say and do.
Right.
I'm not liable for any of you fucks.
Well, none of our people would do anything like that. So I'm not worried about our people for the most part. But there have been people outside of our group who have said things like, "I can't believe you're associating with Tact. I can't believe you're associating with Pete." And you're like, why? What's wrong with them? Oh, yeah. Well, they're just negative creeps who are making the whole, U.S. soccer realm big negative place.
Yep.
It's like, have you watched our show? Like,
You
we
know,
do that too. Like, we're
we
pretty
say with
negative.
a smile. That's the difference.
I
We
mean,
throw a couple of innuendos in there, but we say a lot of the same stuff. We have difference of opinions too, but the funny thing is that the stuff that we heard early on, as far as like why are you working, why are you associating with them and this and this, everything that they were bitching about Tact and Pete and even us to an extent, not even us because we're fun loving guys, but everything they bitched about them about. The mainstream has started to parrot it.
Oh yeah,
a lot of that shit's coming out. Maybe this player isn't good enough to be on the squad. We've said that 2 fucking years ago.
Right. Yep.
It's coming back out is the thing, So
like, you can't criticize Aaron Long. He's a dedicated American MLS player. Yes, I can criticize Aaron Long. Fuck you. And I
quite
did.
frankly, I don't like people telling me who I can and can't associate with. I'll associate with whoever I want to fucking associate with.
Well, luckily, most of those people that we talk to have changed their mind.
Yeah.
And that's good because, they're probably more of what you call the mainstream old school people, writers. And they kind of like, okay, Pete's pretty cool. Some of them are still not sure about Tact, but they like Pete. They like Pete. So we'll see how that goes. I think a lot of people changed their minds about Tact too.
Mm-hmm.
And Tact's just more abrasive on the Twitters than Pete. And I think
that's the funny thing too. If you get him off Twitter and get him onto a show, it's night and day. He's definitely Tact's just a troll on Twitter. And he trolls very specific groups.
But you know what? So is Lawless. He's a fucking troll.
Yeah.
But he's worse at it because his don't make any sense. His fucking trolls are stupid because they actually sound like real things. Anyhow. All right. So the whole point here is none of us are doing anything wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with being critical. All you got to not do is just tell people not to kill themselves or threaten them in any way physically or their family. And then you're fine. We do not condone any of that shit. And Pete wouldn't either, and nor would Tact. No one would. And so I think we can all, you even watch Jimmy's show these days and how critical they are. Yeah. They've been really critical, a lot more critical than they used to be, right?
They've seen the light.
And yet, I don't think anybody's, I don't think anybody's calling them like a super negative show or anything like that. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's working out, is what I'm saying. Like, I think that, Pete and Tact are now kind of like almost in Pete, especially, has been sort of embraced by the establishment in the sense they're like, listen, this guy doesn't say everything we want him to say, but he's pretty fair. He's a fair dude. So let's give him some leeway. Let's give him some contacts. Let's give him some connections. And he does have some because of that now. Leeds fans didn't care when Weston was getting abused, but Bamford is English. Yeah, nobody's abusing Weston after last game because he played really well. Mm-hmm. And I really like, by the way, I got to mention this to the Leeds fans out there. The fact that, and Big Sam needs some love. He needs love. What did he do? He played a 4-3-3. Who did he play as the CDM? Cock. Right down the middle, baby. Cock. Right down the middle. And you know what? Cock did really well in that central defensive midfield role. I know we're all going Cock. But so, he played really well.
As far as this comment too, for the most part, I think Bamford has gotten a pass for the season, quite frankly, from a lot of people. But there were the time when he did end up canceling when he liked that one tweet as far as saying we talked about this last show.
Oh yeah, that was a horrible tweet.
Basically like, hey, if you aren't out there playing in the EPL, matches, then you have no room to talk, type of thing.
No room to criticize. Yeah. You can't criticize unless you're an EPL player. You have no right to criticize Bamford. Fuck you.
Yeah, and there and to the credit of Leeds fans there were a lot of Leeds fans who were bitching him out about that too, saying, hey, if Weston can take 1,000 fat jokes, you can take criticism for this, type of thing. So, it's
absolutely
there.
Yep.
So,
I can now say that Weston officially has 5 good games now out of 13,
Yeah,
14.
like that.
Yeah. No, it's a good game. He played
It
really
was a
well.
good game. I
Yeah.
wish he would have gotten that goal, and I would have made back some of my money.
I like the fact that in the second half, he got all of a sudden all this freedom when they brought Forshaw. He's going They brought Foreskin in to play next to Cock, and that they gave Weston kind of the run of the wherever he wanted to go. I like that.
Also benched Roca too, man.
I know Roca seems to be on the outs. This is 2 games in a row now. I think Sam saw something. He watched enough video and he said, this guy's part of the problem. Like as far as how the team functions as a group and protecting that back 4. And he's like, this guy can't protect the back 4. And Roca's out. He's gone. I don't think he's going to play. He might come off the bench, but I don't think he's going to start another game this season for Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, man, nothing would make me more happy than to see Big Sam keep this team up with a win against West Ham. And maybe he'll win against Tottenham. Is it possible? Tottenham Spurs.
They nearly beat Newcastle, so anything's possible, I guess.
Speaking of a beating, Brett, fucking Charlie Davies just wails on fucking Heath Pearson this.
So I have to say, each show moving forward, the trio's gelling a lot better. Like especially Davies. Davies is gelling a lot more, and it's like he's a lot more energetic, and he's not just straight up talking like this is what I think is going to happen. But in this one, he's much livelier, and it's far more entertaining to watch.
No, I mean Davies is done with bullshit at this point.
I'm glad.
And
it's funny because when you jump onto this whole thing, it takes a moment for people to do that too. You generally don't just come out swinging. You usually come on and you're like, well, I'm going to try to be professional about this and do this, this, and this. And then you come out and it's a little dry. And then eventually at some point there's some crest you go over that all of a sudden it hits and you're just like, open the floodgates.
I think at this point, Heath just said something really silly, which is there are a bunch of these MLS 17, 18-year-old midfielders that are going to somehow put pressure on MMA for a starting role or even a bench role in 2026, including Luca De La Torre. And I mean, Davey's just saying, are you fucking crazy? These kids are there's only 2 years before the World Cup, dude. Do you realize there's 2.5 years? There's no way these young kids have any shot. They need to go to Europe first. They're all stuck in MLS. They're not in Europe. They're not playing on European teams. I mean, Paxton Aronson has no chance at making that 2026 team. I'm sorry. He has a very small chance. Okay, I'll give him a small chance. But the kids that Heath is talking about have 0 chance at making that 2026 starting lineup team. Paxton Aronson, I mean, no way he really has a chance at making or putting pressure on Musa, McKennie, and Adams. So no way.
And I might be proven wrong here very quickly when we start this, but I think Heath was basically just talking about the midfield roster spots in 2026, not necessarily competing against MMA initially. And then that's when Davies brings up, who do you think is going to apply pressure to MMA there? And then that kind of got warped to that kind of a conversation.
That's not
how I thought initially he was just saying like, there's all these players. Do you think the midfield is locked? I might be looking too much in that. Maybe he didn't mean MMA being locked, not necessarily the midfield roster itself being locked. But
I think you're being too nice to Heath.
I might be. Who knows? We'll see.
All right, let's play it.
Real quick, I wanted to point this out, and you guys are going to hate this because you know
yes.
what it is. But Buck, Wolf, Kramashi, Vargas, McGlynn, Pukstas. It's a lot of midfielders we're putting on the field right now for young Americans.
Uh-huh.
He did say Pukstas, and Pukstas is in Europe, so there you go. Maybe that's the one.
Come on, he's playing in Europe in a league worse than MLS.
Hey! You're the one that said that they have to go to Europe, so I'm just saying.
Not that kind of Europe. Not
here.
Eastern Europe. No, I didn't say Eastern Europe. I said Europe, like Europe core.
And dare I say, somebody in that group is going to do something towards 2026.
No, they're not.
And we've talked about
MMA being
the most locked
I know he
sort of
didn't.
thing on the field.
Whoa.
But
Who,
All right. There we go. Okay. Never mind. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
multiple years out.
Who in that group is gonna get through?
Fair
Amen.
enough. The Davies
We're talking about
one.
2.5 years from now. Or is it
You
2
think
years?
you think of those young players, one of them is gonna push into the midfield of the
What-
current
what-
USMNT
M-
national team?
MMA is hurt. One of them will be hurt. That's what he's
All
trying
I'm
to say.
saying, all I'm
Heath
saying,
is
Like,
putting that into the
regarding-
world. One of the
Jimmy
MMA.
just sort of sits back, lets it go, and then every now and then he just chimes in, pokes.
Totally pokes the bear the entire time. He sits back and laughs at this whole exchange and just pokes the bear. He
Yeah.
just makes it worse, which is great. And he's laughing his ass off. Good for you, Jimmy. It's fucking
It's gonna be
great.
hurt.
You honestly think one of those young players will come into this midfield now?
all I'm saying, I didn't say now. I said it's
No, in the 2026 World Cup. Yes, the current
saying-
midfield.
I mean, statistically, one or two of our young players are going to emerge for that roster.
No,
Okay.
not in the midfield, motherfucker.
So that was. I wish I had time because you sent this to me and I didn't get to start watching this until too late.
Mhm.
I would have loved to have gone back, look at all the World Cup rosters, and just see if there was a consistency as far as like U17 for that cycle that emerges in that midfield or anywhere, I guess, in the field.
No.
I mean, this last year was an anomaly. I mean, we had a bunch of 18-year-olds playing at the World Cup level, but mind you, there are also 18-year-old professional players playing in Europe at the highest levels.
Yeah.
A little bit
There's-
different there.
There's really no trend for that to be true.
Yeah.
Pulisic's breakthrough was an anomaly.
But he was
Reyna-
playing at Dortmund at the time, though.
Yeah, but it's an anomaly. It's not normal.
Sure.
And you could go back to Beasley and Donovan, but again, that's not a whole lot of like trend, right? That's like 2002, and here we are. We're 20 years later, and it happened again with
Yeah,
Pulisic.
was there anybody in between Donovan and Beasley and Pulisic? There's at least
No.
2 World Cups there, right? 3 World Cups, 2?
Not really, because Dempsey wasn't that young. Nobody was that young that just like cracked it and was like a superstar.
Dempsey
Like-
was 23, 24 when he was in that cycle.
So yeah,
When he went to the World Cup, I guess.
there were no other Donovans and no other Pulisic.
Oh, what about Green?
Yeah, no. How about no?
He had a World Cup goal.
How about no? Now, Green did have a great weekend. He scored 2 goals for first this weekend. So there you go. Maybe he is a superstar in waiting. We don't know. He could come out as a superstar, a superhero even. But I doubt it. I think he's done. Anyhow, this is funny. This is great.
I feel like the biggest contention for a younger player like U17 or even just like U20 player to contend for a spot on the World Cup squad is going to probably be our backs.
Yes.
Just because we've got depth, but it's not secure depth.
It's not really going to be a center back because you don't bring 19, 20, 21-year-old center backs to start at a World Cup. That's not how anybody does that. And even like a center forward's going to break out in the next. So you look at the weak spots like center forward. It's not that weak, but it's weak comparatively to the midfield. Midfield's pretty solid because outside of MMA, you also got Luca De La Torre,
Who's the
Aronson.
who's the Honduran American that plays at Liverpool right now? That plays for the 17 team.
He's got no chance at making the 2026 World Cup.
I
None.
don't think so either. But I'm looking at our striker pool right now and going like, well, it's possible, I guess.
There's no way he
shines.
No, he's not going to leap over Sargent or Pepe by that time. No, not happening. Not happening. I'm just saying it's not happening.
Either, but
Yeah, that's
Figueroa,
guy.
thank you.
He's more of a 20-30 guy. 20-30 guy,
Figueroa,
right?
Figueroa.
Yeah, Figueroa. So yeah, let's continue.
Of the players he just named, that's who he's going out and saying is going to break into this current midfield right now. You think that?
I didn't say that. I said
Yes, he did.
there is a
Okay.
conversation that needs to be had.
What's
That
that
we got-
conversation?
What do you mean? You got Tyler Adams hurt. He's hurt a lot. You've got You've got Yunus Musa not playing as much right now. Depends on where he goes.
He cannot play
and
for
you've
a
got-
year. He's still playing over any of them. Okay.
Amen.
That's a great point there too. Yeah.
And plus,
How long is Adams? They were talking about Adams being returning to Leeds training. And mind you, it was also proven that that's not accurate either.
right.
He's missing the last 2 games, but then he's gonna have all summer to recover. I mean, we're talking about going into 2026. Who cares if Adams is injured right now?
I mean, I know Cardoso's injured right now, but it's like he's another option in the midfield. You've got
what Tillman can do this summer in the Gold Cup.
You got both Tillmans, right? Both of them.
Mhm.
You got Aiden Morris, certainly better than all the kids that he just mentioned right now, playing better than all those kids that are mentioned in this podcast that Heath is trying to bring up as one of the 17 or 18-year-olds who are going to like bust a fucking serious nut and get into the team by 2026. That's a lot to accomplish in 2.5 years. A lot. It's going to take a fucking miracle. And then we got guys like Mihailovic who are over there and playing for Aze. I mean, you could call it playing.
Yeah.
Call it because it's not a lot of time. He's coming off the bench. He is not what we thought he was going to be when he went there. We thought he was going to be like break into the starting lineup eventually. No, sir. Nope. Not doing that. Only getting handful of minutes at the end of the games now. So there are a lot of guys, those guys would still have to overtake that look nothing like Mihailovic, who's playing at a really good team. Tessman is not going to get a look, mostly because he's playing in Serie B, which is considered trash.
Yeah, I guess the big question there, though, is would he get a look over, say, a U17 player within the next 2 years?
Yes, he would. He would. He would deserve a look before all of these kids we're talking about right now in this particular argument.
And also, let's remember, the Venezia is like literally in the playoff contention spot.
They're number 7.
They might be back in Serie A next year.
Yes, they were in the playoff spot because that whole system's crazy, where the first 2 teams make it in the next 6.
I mean, eight teams out of the 18 go into the playoffs.
Well,
well, two automatically make it, I guess.
Yeah, and the rest of the 6 have some weird ass playoff system to decide who goes up. So
it's whoever wins it, I guess, in the end.
But Venezia,
6 teams.
Venezia have been hot lately. So, yep, they won again. I think this weekend. Let me check.
Yeah.
Did you check it?
How they did this weekend?
Yeah.
No.
Can't find it on here. I know I wrote it down.
What is it? The 15th. They won 3-2 on Saturday.
Yeah, there we go. Tessman 90 in a win. Bucio got 30, and Novakovic got 20.
Yeah, they're currently sitting in 7th place right now.
7th place. Yep.
2 points out of not playoff spot.
Yep. They'll probably get to play in these playoffs. We'll see what goes. Let's
be nice.
Let's watch Davies totally trash.
To come back. Yeah.
We'll say that. You just brought up Kramashi. Like, I'm telling you, in 2 years,
you guys can't see
in
Chuck's
the
face.
same way.
Kramaski? You're saying Kramaski can get in this team?
I'm saying it's worth talking about. Also, Shakaris, I'm saying we have a number of players.
Even your kids
are
say,
like,
Dad,
stop it.
They say, Dad,
you gotta fool yourself.
You're falling apart. You're falling apart, Dad.
Shakaris does in the U20s coming up here before we start talking about him.
You know what?
I know he's playing since returning from injury. He was playing prior to that with San Jose, but let's see what he does.
Heath is being really stubborn here. I'm sorry.
I mean, in his defense, it's a conversation to be had.
No, it's not. It's not a conversation. It's not. It's truly not. One of the places we are not weak right now. If you're talking about MMA, and then you're talking about Luca De La Torre, and then you're talking about Johnny Cardoso, and you're talking about Aiden Morris, and you're talking about some other kids that can play in that role. A lot of people like Taylor Booth playing in the midfield role. I think we're doing okay there, and I don't see any of these young kids with this little time that they have busting into the team. They would have to go over, play for a really good team, and make the team. Good luck doing that in 2 years, 2.5 years. Good luck. Go ahead.
Technically, about 3 years.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, they're all in MLS until the end of this season. So really, they only got like 2 years, 2.5 years to make a statement overseas. If they go over like Paxton did, it's going to take them a while to break into a team and become a starter. These guys are not fucking Adams. They're not a guy. They're going to go over to Europe immediately. The coaches are going to say, this kid is fucking awesome. We're going to start playing him on a regular basis and then starting him. Now, eventually he got benched at Leipzig, but he did play a lot before he eventually kind of had to ride some pine. But that is an anomaly. That is not normal. The normal is Paxton Aronson. That's normal. You're inching your way into the lineup. There are only some, even you look at Pulisic at Dortmund. He wasn't a regular starter. Look at Reyna at Dortmund. He's not a regular starter. So it's a battle once you go overseas.
Oddly enough, though, Reyna was a regular starter his first full senior.
Yes, he
year.
was. Yep.
And then he got injured that summer.
And then they loaded up too. They went it out like Dortmund always does, and they load up on players, good young players, and we're seeing them, and they're badass, and they have great veteran players to match up with that. So, all right.
So I guess what if they go the route of a? It's weird though that names like Paredes and Paxton weren't even brought up. But Paxton not being brought up is a strange thing. I guess he's talking about U17s more so than the U20s. I guess in that sense.
Well, Paredes, to be fair, is a winner. He's not going to play midfield.
Sure, I guess they are talking about midfield, aren't they? So
yeah, not in our setup. He's not. He's either an attacking winger or a left wing back or a left back if you want to stretch it, because he doesn't really do that. But if you need him, I guess. What the hell?
No, hey, listen.
Oh,
if you're not hopeful of the players coming through our pipeline right now, then we got problems, man. We got
nobody's saying hopeful, but don't you dare say one of these young players is going to get into this 2026 World Cup team.
Look at it.
And
he's
play
laughing.
in the midfield over a McKinney, a Yunus Musa, even De La Fuente. I mean,
De La Torre.
De La Fuente.
He said that too, and I go, wait, what?
De La Torre?
De La Torre. De La Torre, McKinney, Tyler Adams, Yunus Musa, Brendan Aronson. You go down the line. You think one of these kids is going to break into that 2026 midfield?
Charlie,
no, they're not.
Your thought that you think our national team's going to be the same in 2 years right now?
I'm not saying that.
That's not what he said at
Hell no,
all.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the players you named
are not.
I almost feel like he's kind of trolling it for a reaction at this point. Because there's no way that he took all of what Charlie's saying and came to that conclusion.
Okay. Oh, no. Here's the thing about Heath. And Heath's fully admitted this. This is not a secret about Heath. Heath, throughout his career even, has had a lot of insecurities, right? And what you do when you're not a fully 100, I mean, Heath's a great looking dude, right? He shouldn't be insecure, but he's always admitted to having those insecurities. Here's a guy who's putting up a defense when he shouldn't put up a defense because he's a little insecure about looking like an idiot. When he should just let it go and go, well, you're probably right. None of those kids are probably going to make it, and just laugh it off like we do on this show all the time. When we're like, yeah, you're right. Fuck it. I fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes you just got to say.
Or you just laugh it off because you're like, yeah, this isn't really worth debating on.
Well, no, you can't say it's not worth debating because the point is that Chuck's right.
No. I'm saying that there are times where we'll be going back and forth, and either you just sort of do an eye roll or I'm just like, whatever, and we just move on. And like, clearly there was no headway going. And I'm not saying that it's nearly as one-sided as this argument is.
Oh, yeah, because he's getting pummeled.
But it's one of those things where like we're just like, this just really isn't worth the time to argue about.
I mean, if this was a knockout, if this were a heavyweight fight, the ref would be going over to Heath and give him an 8 count. And the problem is that he's too stubborn to look bad and admit that, yeah, you're probably right. None of those kids have their chances are extremely small.
Well, I mean, hell, we going back and looking, we always talk about the number of players that come out of the youth teams and how many of them actually succeed with the national team.
Not many.
And it's like 1 to 3 players every cycle at most.
Yeah.
At most.
Yep.
And I go back to looking at a player like, and this is kind of going back a few years, are void of players, but like somebody like a Justin Mapp or an Eddie Yavin, players who were really good at the youth level, but then all of a sudden at the national team level, and even at MLS level at that point, was like
they were serviceable, but they never blew anybody's dick off. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many of these U17 and even U20 midfielders that he's mentioning here that might even be getting some minutes in MLS here and there will just become that serviceable MLS players?
Exactly. That's what most of them will become. Almost all of them. Maybe there might be one, but it's going to take them longer than 2 years to fucking find their way. So
especially talking about one of our deeper positions, quite frankly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know we brought like
back.
Roldan last year or to the World Cup and all that stuff. We had players that didn't go to the World Cup that probably should have. So I think our midfield is arguably our deepest spot. So talking about a youth player breaking through is going to be rough.
Yep. So we can stop this and move on to the other one because this was them talking. The next one's them talking about Donovan getting his ass reamed, and then we'll end it there. Donovan and the San Diego Loyal getting their butt reamed. And you already said. Good.
Yep. Turn it to our business expert here, Heath Pierce, who lives closest to San Diego out of us three. Heath, what are you hearing on the ground there?
Well, I'm here on the ground just reporting live
from Snapdragon Stadium.
And it looks like we're going to have ourselves a little bit of controversy. No, I think, look.
Burn fat and get shape.
No, not that guy. The guy that makes everybody feel old.
We've seen this before. If you go back 15 years to the New York Cosmos, the New York Cosmos walked around New York for months and years talking about how they were going to be the second team in New York for MLS, right? And they didn't have the firepower.
They sweat me balls. Remember that, Brett?
Clearly have.
Yep.
And they didn't have the ability to execute that. So somebody else came in. I believe San Diego, or maybe the same ownership group or another ownership group, was going to or have been bidding for Major League Soccer based on the ability to build out a stadium and all these other things. I don't know if that's specifically the Loyal or if it was another group that Landon was part of it. But if you remember, they turned down the ability to build this sports park. That's all part.
I guess for context, for people who aren't necessarily following this part of MLS, there's a San Diego team that's won out the next MLS expansion that has nothing to do with the San Diego Loyal.
By the way, who is partially owned by Landon Donovan, coached by Landon Donovan, and the fucking most valuable player award in MLS is named after Landon Donovan. And basically, they're going into San Diego MLS, and they are skipping over the Loyal. They're not going, okay, hey, Landon, can you come up with $500 million? Can you put together, a conglomerate? But then you have the Mansours coming in from, where are they coming in from? Egypt? I can't remember.
Yes.
They're fucking loaded. They're loaded with money. So they're going to
billionaires.
They're not like, so MLS isn't going, Mr. Mansour, can you work with the San Diego Loyal to come up with a plan for a future MLS team? No, they're like, yeah, fuck Landon Donovan. We're just going to talk to you, and you are going to start what's the San Diego FC or the San Diego football team plan. And Landon Donovan can go suck his own cock somewhere in a corner because we don't really care about him, even though we named this trophy after him. That's what we're talking about here. And
that's because MLS only answers to this.
Well, yeah, of course.
Money.
I mean, when you take the last fee paid by Clit was $325 million. That's Charlotte, for those of you who don't know who Clit is. And now we're jumping from 325 to $500 fucking million for entry. That's a really expensive whore. That's really expensive. So I guess you better know what you're getting into. How big will MLS get? We kind of talked about this on the last show. I think they're probably going for NFL size, somewhere like 32, 36 would be my guess.
I wouldn't be shocked if they kept adding franchises and then they eventually did it an artificial promotion relegation between their own league.
If they get to like 40 or 48, which is covers every major soccer market in the United States, then they can have like a 20 and an 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or a 20 and a 22.
20 and 28 at 48.
Yeah, 20 and 20. Or they could split it up evenly, and have 24 and 24.
Yeah.
And have MLS 1, MLS 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I doubt they'll do that, though. What they're more likely to do, if they get to 40, for example, is do 20 East, 20 West, and then, you got the top
10 each one, move on. Yeah.
Move on to the playoffs. So that's more likely than anything else. So
no, that's very likely. They're probably just literally going to go the football route.
So anyhow, that's pretty much it with Heath. He didn't have much more to add here than that because he didn't know. Basically, just ends up saying, "I really don't know any more than that," and that's fine because kind of that's where we all are. I just would like to hear from Landon about this. I don't know if he's tweeted about it or he's made comments yet. If you know about that, let us know. So anyhow, that's all we got for you tonight for the most part, Brett, right? That's it. 2 hours in?
Chambers, we're going to hold this off until Thursday's show because that's not time sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
we didn't even...
Brett just sent me something about Copa, so we can talk about that later.
Yeah, we can save that one for next show. We didn't even mention the Barcelona players being rioted, with the fans coming out of the crowd and chasing the team off the field at Espanyol Stadium. The Espanyol fans having a mini riot and chasing the Barcelona players off. I mean, you're talking about Barcelona, which is the home of the Catalans, right? And then you got Espanyol, which literally Espanyol Barcelona means Spanish Barcelona. So these are people who are loyal to Spain versus the Catalans. There's lots of history there. And then Barcelona were celebrating in their midfield because Espanyol's probably going to get relegated and Barcelona just won the championship. The fans said, fuck that. They ran onto the stadium to chase them off the midfield. The players ran into the tunnel. And, thankfully nothing horrible happened there. I think that's about all we got. I will say, if you're looking for a great hip-hop album to listen to, check out RZA, RZA, and Liquid Swords. Probably one of the baddest ass fucking albums. That Liquid Swords. Best
word for 200.
One of the best. We promise to pronounce Hibernian going forward. We will work on that.
I make no promise for that, Derek.
Yeah, I can't either because in the moment, I will screw it up. But until the next time, we want to say we love you. Thank you for watching the show. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and listen. I'm not going to get into a big stepsister debate with you tonight. I know a lot of people are saying it doesn't count, but it really doesn't count. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
We know which bingo card Derek picks.
It wouldn't have counted on the Brady Bunch. I'm sorry if Greg and what's her name I would have been fine. They haven't known each other for like 13 years. What do they know? They're going to hook up and do it
step by step too, man.
But that is not incest. I'm sorry, it's not. So until the next time on the Straight Red Card, do it.
She's a trap, she's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine.